Hello, 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 hello. No crazy Lou today, unfortunately, but welcome to Xbox International podcast. And today, unfortunately, I don't know what went wrong with the flight, but we might not be going onto like a full flight today. But hey, we're here. We got a few topics to talk about. And let's just start how Lou will start the show. Let's start with you, Drawn TJ. How are you doing, and what have you been playing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been playing. Well, I started um, Dragon's Dogma or whatever. How you say it?
Dragon Dogs one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I started. The controls are a little bit weird, but it's not bad. And
Okay.
then I've been also playing Power World, which is really fun. I've already got the most strongest pal in the game, the Jet Dragon.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
And
Yeah.
now I'm gonna play the classic Star Wars Battlefront collection when it comes out later tonight at 9 my time.
Oh, I heard. Do you know? My
It's
coworker
only $30.
told me about it, and I didn't even know that was announced or anything. But
Oh, it's 4K 60, so it's not rebuilt from the ground up, but it is like higher res and it's better frame rate, and they turned on the servers. You do 64 versus 64 combat. So, yeah.
nice, nice. What about you, Silent Cipher? How you doing, first of all, and what have you been playing?
I'm I'm surviving.
Oh,
We're we're halfway through the work week. Things are good on that side of things. Um, doing good, doing good. Happy I could make it this evening. I honestly was not sure if I was going to make it. Life is going to life outside of this, and sometimes you're surprised if you make it, but you're not surprised if something happens and deters you from being here. But no, I haven't been playing a lot, but I have been playing games. I have played some Fortnite, but I also have been jumping in and playing a ton of Dead Island 2, which has been a blast. I don't know why I bounced off of it when it first came out as quick as I did. I think there were other games that came out around the same time, and I just got sidetracked or whatever the reason is. But I'm back on that one. I'm playing a bunch of that. I just got to some points where they revealed some key story details and stuff, and so it's getting interesting. I'm looking forward to jumping back on there, hopefully more this weekend. But what about you, Crazy Louis Blow? Oh, that didn't come out right.
no,
What have you been playing?
not at all. Oh man. Um, so I'm been alright, and what have I been playing? I've been playing Mass Effect 2, as you guys know. Last night I got to the very end, but right when as you go toward that last mission, a few things happened on the way. There was actually some turbulence in the ship, and uh, I guess this is not a spoiler because it's different for every person. But three of my characters uh, basically died. so
Jesus.
so I was in shock. I was like, whoa, one after another. So that was pretty like devastating in a way, but also shocking. And I was a little bit tired. So I decided to take the night off and not finish the game. uh, I needed a little time to process all that, but you know, having a good time with that. On Monday, I did play some more GTFO. We
Hmm.
still have been unable to progress in that game. Oh my god, that game is
That game's hard from what I hear.
we
Everything.
yeah. So we got some new game plan. We're gonna try to tackle it again this Monday, and hopefully, with the new strategy and more organized, hopefully we can we can get through the first level.
Nice.
But yeah, that's basically it. For today, I have no flight itinerary, so Captain, I don't know if you're ready. I probably didn't give you enough
Yeah,
time
you
to get ready.
really didn't give me very much time to put my pants on, but you know.
But I would say real quick to John TJ
Whoa,
when he was talking to about Dragon Dogma, um, I do think that the layout of the buttons it's a little bit weird when you're a new
it's
player,
weird.
but as you start playing more and you get used to it, because of the way that you basically have like multiple attacks and you kind of need it has I think you'll understand more as you get farther along and you get more abilities and more combinations and more stuff. Why the button got that layout? I'm not saying it still doesn't need more tweaking. I did see that the new one has a little bit of tweaking, so hopefully that kind of like maybe you playing a little bit more of the first one and then with the little tweaking they did, it
You
makes
could
it
definitely tell
more
the first
enjoyable.
one's a little bit dated.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that the second one is really the true vision of what they wanted to do.
Yeah,
That's what it looked like.
I'm
Captain,
gonna
you
wait for it
ready
to go on sale.
for flight?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Sours turned on that subscribe button. Please stow your food and beverages next to your desk, underneath your seat, or in front of you. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt. Also, make sure you've hit that like and subscribe as we take off. We gently remind you that smoking and drinking are not prohibited on this flight. However, making some lame excuse about being an animal feeding event, something about bestiality, that is strictly prohibited. If you have any questions about this flight today, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight panelists. Thank you.
All right. Okay, well, I want to start the show real quick. If you saw the thumbnail that we have for this episode, we did had Toriyama. Excuse me if I mispronounced the name, but he did pass away last week, and I did wanted to at least mention that. If you guys, you probably already know because you know his information was everywhere. But he is the creator of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z. He also worked on Chronos Trigger. Um, he worked on the upcoming Sandland. What's the other game? There's another game I know he worked on. But the point is, unfortunately, he did pass away. He was a big figure, and I just wanted to know from your guys' perspective, was there any game or were you a fan of Dragon Balls, or did he had any influence of any of you guys? Probably not.
Kick,
No.
kick that to
Um,
Drawn TJ
rest
first.
rest in peace. But yeah, I don't like Dragon Ball. Not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Silent doesn't look like he's much of a fan.
No.
I,
I can tell by him
I,
smiling too. He's like,
Oh, Dragon Quest. Thank you, Elvio. Yes, Dragon Quest is the other one.
yeah. So I will say I did play some Dragon Quest. I want to say it was Dragon Quest 9 back in the day on the PS2, and I enjoyed that. But that being said, I most of his work never really hit me too much in regards to like what I experienced, because as you know, I'm not much of an anime guy. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm a
neither
grouchy
am
old
I.
Hey,
man.
I don't think you're much of a JRPG either, right?
I, yes and
Okay,
no. Yes and
I
no,
will say
right?
something about that. I like
Because
Fantasy Star Universe, but
Oh,
I don't like the one that they
I
brought
believe
to
maybe.
Xbox.
Oh yes, I was just about to mention it. Yeah, Blue. He also worked on Blue Dragon.
and I didn't play that one either. But no, I mean I'll get grief for it constantly,
That
but
was an
it's one of
Xbox
those.
exclusive.
Yeah, that
What
doesn't
kind of
matter.
Xboxers are you? I mean, I'm
It
just
doesn't. I'll
kidding.
play it wherever it
Spider
is.
Man is a
It's
PlayStation exclusive, but you don't see that performing well.
no, I mean like I enjoy stuff like Yakuza. I've gotten into those. I did get into some of the Dragon Quest stuff like back in the day. I've I kind of jump in here and there, but it's never really been like my primary
We understand.
game genre.
Pokemon took too much of your time.
Yep, Pokemon was, it was it. And then once all that weird stuff started happening with the trainers, I was like, no, 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 we're done with that.
Yeah,
Um, but no, it's never been my thing. But I totally understand as to why a lot of people would be very, disheartened and saddened by the loss and the passing of this guy. Like he's obviously had a major impact on the industry, and he will continue to have that impact, right? Like his games aren't going anywhere. They're still going to be around. His art will remain, and he'll live on for a long time through the medium. So, you know, shout out to his family, and hope everyone's okay in the loss. And yeah, I don't know. It sucks. It seems like because I think he was in his late 60s, but he did not look like an old guy.
That's not old.
He
Yeah.
he looked super youthful. Like you look at that man's face, and that man looked like he'd be tap dancing down the street. He looked very energetic, very very lively. So that's definitely a tragic loss for sure.
Yeah. Well, uh, he had no influence in you guys, but he did have influence in me. So I will mention a few things. Um, because of him, probably is the reason why I love anime. Even though Dragon Ball wasn't the first anime I watched, it was the anime that kind of got me like really hooked into animes. So
What's the first one you watched?
the first one would be, I think it was Yu Yu Hakusho, which is
Okay.
very good also. Yeah. But even though I did like it a lot, it wasn't like Dragon Ball became, especially when it came to Dragon Ball Z, it became like I was addicted to it. And then the second time that I felt like he really like had a huge influence with me was Chronos Trigger. Um, when I discovered that game, to me, till this day, that's the best JRPG in my opinion. And it's kind of sad that he went away. Fortunately, sometime we are all going there. We're all gonna. Unfortunately,
Yep.
that's something you can't get away from. But he will always be remembered for all his accomplishment and everything he
How did
made.
he die? Or was it just natural?
Um,
Honestly, I
don't think
yeah.
we've really
Because
gotten like a lot of details. I
65,
thought
It,
I heard
you
some.
said?
What's that?
I mean, my grandfather's 88, so I mean, 65 and he died. That's yeah.
thought
Something must have happened
I thought
because
I
it
heard
it's
something
rare that people
being
die
with
at that
like,
age.
yeah, I think I heard something
Yeah.
about like maybe it being brain related, like an embolism type of thing or something, but I'm not
Oh,
100% sure,
that's
so
just
don't quote
tragic.
me.
Yeah.
okay. Well, moving on. Actually, before I move on, shout out also to the guys at Xbox International en Español. They actually did a very nice
Nice.
tribute to him. So Elvio, nice job doing that, putting that together. Shaddai also, good job there. And shout out to ASCAP, even though he wasn't there, but shout out to him and make sure he trade in his PlayStation. He's not putting it to use. Anyway,
Less is more, Sour. Less is
oh,
more.
let's you true. Anyway, the enough cons. Uh, let's move on to the big topic because this could probably take the rest of the show. This is gonna be a short show. Um, and is Sean Layden. He had a little conversation. I actually have some of his quotes here. In which to give a quick synopsis. No, not synopsis. What's the word?
Synopsis, like description,
Um, basically like a brief idea what he.
summary.
Yeah, summary. That's what I. To give a brief summary of what he said was that exclusive might be the Achilles heel at this moment, and some of his quotes were like, "When your cost of the game exceeds 200 million, exclusivity is your Achilles heel." He also said another. Let me see. Another platform is just another way of opening the funnels, getting more people in. In a free to play world, as we know, 90% of those people will never spend a nickel. The business is all about conversation. You have to improve your odds of cracking the funnels open. Layden continued. He said Helldiver 2 has shown that for PlayStation coming out of PC at the same time, again, you can get that funnel wider. You get more people in. So, Silent. Let's start with you. What do you think about Sean Layden? Is he right? Could he be right? I mean, or I mean, Spider Man, Last of Us,
I
God of War.
I mean, here's my thing.
Does exclusive matter?
I think the insider that we heard from this weekend nailed it right on the head, right? Where less is more. And so there's no reason to have more games. Like you consolidate all that effort into one project so that way it's the best thing in the world. And it doesn't matter if you're stuck without content for 12 to 14 months, because that one game is going to be amazing. And the retention on that game is going to be amazing too, because you and I both know it's going to be a single player experience. So you can rest assured that everyone's going to spend about 10 hours on that and then bounce to someone else's console because that will take none of their time and they'll be back playing other games. No,
Well,
in all seriousness, in all seriousness, no,
I'm
I
trying
agree with
not to
him. Like
laugh.
I think the idea of going so aggressive on these massive budgets it's a pitfall. We've seen it over and over again. We've seen it with Final Fantasy. We've seen it with Spider-Man. We've seen it with these games, and we've seen what happens when they put this much money into one title. I think I was even talking to you guys a couple days ago about it, but like I miss the days of 360 when we had double A's, we had more single A's, we had a lot of games coming out all the time. Why was that? Because the budgets were lower, the development cycle on those were shorter, everything was faster paced. Nowadays, like it's all got to be about being the highest visual quality looking game possible, no matter what. It doesn't matter. Like you can't have those indie games and be like the big game of the year because people have gotten very narrow focused on what makes game of the year. It's got to be like a massive budget. It's got to have like a top tier story no matter what. The double A games don't land in those game of the year conversations, right? Because it's not the same amount put into marketing. It's not the same level of polish maybe sometimes on like the visuals. Although you would argue like nowadays we have started to see some people turn that around. Look at that RoboCop game that came out, right? Visually, that game looks amazing. Um, some of the voice work and stuff that they did on it, really good.
It's just like the movie because I'm playing that
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, 100%. Like it doesn't always play super fast, but you're playing a you're playing a very blocky robot, right? Like you're roaming
You're playing
around just
a tanky Iron Man
yeah.
version.
Yeah, it's like a tank sim game. So no, I think he's right in the fact that like this endeavor to put so much money into like one development cost like that is causing a major change in how people are going to have to respond in the future. It's why we've seen so many studios I think go under too, is because everyone just assumes that they have to have the highest quality AAA budget game coming out, or else it's not going to have any traction. And that's not the case. Like we look at something like Brotato, we look at something like Vampire Survivors, RoboCop, like all these games, even Alan Wake 2. Like yeah, it had a decent budget, but it's not a $200 million budget,
yeah.
and it did well. And it continues to do well. The fanfare has been really good. It landed in the conversations for Game of the Year. So hopefully, in the process of all this, people will start to see like it doesn't have to always be a AAA banger just to make an impact with everyone and to sell.
You know what I feel also with these massive like budget, like it almost feels like when the studios have like a massive budget, it feels like they look at other games that are big and they're like almost trying to like check mark, okay, that game did that, we
Yeah.
need to do that. That game did that, we need to do that. But when they have like a much smaller like budget, like the studio is more like, okay, we need to do something that no one has done, but within the budget. And that's what we're gonna focus on, and that's gonna be like, you know, the identity of this game. Like if it's like a good story and some good stuff, bro, they're gonna spend a good chunk of their money on a good writer. If
Yep.
it's a good game mechanic, they're gonna because they don't have the money to like, and it's gonna like excel in that. But when they have so much money, sometimes I think maybe they're focused on this that, and it ends up not being great at anything.
Well,
Just
you
you know.
you bring that up, and I forget which game it is. Maybe you guys can remind me, but like even just a couple days ago, something was announced. I think what was it? It was that one I think we were talking about like a day ago that's got the robo or like the robot in the screen capture. But they were talking about it and they made it sound like they're trying to target what one of a like a Ubisoft game is, right? Where they're like, it's going to be open world, massive, blah blah blah. It's like it doesn't need to always be that. And also,
Yeah,
it's like it's this new studio. It's their first game as a studio. Like, do something smaller. Don't
exactly.
don't bog
What
yourself
what
up for
what
like
game are
6 years.
talking about?
I gotta see if I can find the picture for it. I think it was
Because I know they
yesterday
got
is when it
Stellar
got announced.
Blade, they have Helldivers, they have. That's all I can think of at the moment.
No,
I'm,
but
I'm
I don't think he necessarily mean
I
PlayStation.
think it was a multi-plat, or that
Oh,
was
it's a
the
multi-plat.
plan at least. But it was one of those things where they came out and they announced it.
Interesting.
They're like,
Okay.
"Hey, we're separating off, doing our own thing."
Oh, I know. It's that new studio,
Deviation
right?
Games,
No, not
right?
not Deviation.
Well,
It's
Oh no.
they're gonna be doing something different too, but that's not by their choice.
Yeah, they shut down.
no,
Poor
not that.
poor anyone who's affected by that, but at the same time, it's just like the timing
I
of
just
all this is
I don't
just
know how you don't see the writing on the wall. Like seriously, partner with the company that's shutting down studios, firing people, laying people off,
I mean,
and
they,
they're
they to
canceling
be fair, they
projects.
they partnered a long time ago, but
I
um,
get that, but why would you go with them when you go with a $3 trillion company that actually lets you do what you want?
well, we don't know if they wanted them or it's
yeah.
I don't
yeah, it's
know, man. They're ex Call of Duty developers, and they're the creators from Naughty Dog,
yeah, but that
apparently.
doesn't.
So
To be honest, there's many studios that it could be formed by veterans, but it doesn't mean their game is gonna be good or is gonna be because it's
yeah,
then we go back to what Silent was saying. Like if you form a new studio, like start with something smaller because the first thing too, even if you have the budget to make a AAA game, but you also have to develop the culture within the studio,
yeah,
and you have to get familiar, who's good at what, you know, how team will react under pressure. There's a lot of things that go into a
yeah.
studio. It's
The
not just like
morale.
click a button and oh, let's add this. Let's click another
Well,
button. Let's add. It's
so
it's it,
look at someone like Three Fields Entertainment, the folks that were involved with the Burnout series back in the day, right? They even to this day
I
they're
thought it was
still
Criterion.
well Criterion, yes, but these guys were like the lead developers for Criterion. They bounced off and they created Three Fields. They did a couple forget the names of them, but it was like dangerous racing, dangerous car or
You know
something.
what? I
And they
got an
did
idea,
multiple.
Cypher.
What's that?
I got an idea.
What's that?
Microsoft has two dead IPs that are sitting in the Activision catalog. Blur, which was created by yours truly, the creators of Project Gotham Racing, which
Mm,
was what's their
Bizarre
names?
Creations.
Bizarre Creations. And then you got Vicarious Visions that also went under that used to make They made what's it called? Vigilante 8.
They also did.
Yep.
I think Vicarious Visions was also involved in Crash Bandicoot at one point
Yep.
too.
Yep. They're very successful, very useful studio.
Mm,
But since I don't think they're active. If I'm
mm-mm.
Microsoft, I go do a partnership with Three Fields and say, "Hey, you guys want to help us bring back Blur or Vigilante? That'd be perfect for Game Pass. You borrow some of the tech from Forza because Blur literally used real licensed vehicles.
Mhm.
And oh my god, that'd be perfect for Game Pass. People just eat it up all day long.
It would be nice. I'd love to see
I love Blur.
Vigilante
Blur
8
was
come
so
back.
much fun, but it didn't do good enough, so they shut it down.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see, and that's my only worry, right? Is like it's been long enough since a lot of these studios have been
And there's new
shuttered.
kids. There's new generation of kids, so
Mhm.
why not do it? And you put it in Game Pass, it can thrive. If it okay, I'll make it real quick. I'll make a really easy point. If they didn't have Game Pass, then I would say no, don't bring it back because it would be either a make or break moment. It would either be let's funnel a lot of cash into it and it fails, or either it is successful. But in Game Pass, it's going to be successful regardless because hey, it's free. At the same time, you get people into another genre that hasn't existed in God knows how long. I mean, perfect example. I would have loved to see Vigilante versus Twisted Metal again, but obviously Sony just canceled that, which really pisses me off. And
Yeah.
now you
Yeah.
got Microsoft that's well, they still might remake it or they might at least bring it backwards compatible. But funny thing is, Vigilante's never been on an Xbox. It was a PlayStation exclusive. It's never been on Xbox. So I don't even know if we'll ever experience that unless they remake it or reboot it.
For wait, for which? For Vigilante?
Yeah, Vigilante was never on Xbox.
That was in 64
It
and PlayStation, right?
it was only on Nintendo and PlayStation. It was very
Yeah.
exclusive to
Okay.
them only. It was never on Xbox. Otherwise, I would have been playing it because I had it on PlayStation, so I would have gotten it when I had my Xbox. But no,
I mean, with them having it now, anything's anything's open, right? Like now that it's part of their IPs, they could
I
drop it in
I
there.
say
So,
grab all the characters from Vigilante, put them in a new Blur spin-off, and bring the Forza tech into it with the licensed cars, and you literally put that in Game Pass. People eat it up.
I would say the smart thing for them to do is, going putting the business suit on, is, you know add them as back compatible all these games, and
Well, yeah,
then
yeah, at least yes,
and then they will get, they will get some numbers, they will get
the
some
numbers.
statistic,
Mhm.
and they will see which games people go back to and actually, go back and play. And then, those numbers, if they can find the right studio and they're interested, then have them bring them back. Even if it's not all these games have to have, like, AAA budgets or anything like that. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you can have you can
You can
trickle
have
in
double A
some,
budgets, and
you can have
they'd be
some,
just
yeah.
fine. I mean, just make Blur in 4K, and it runs perfect. It was a solid game, but you gotta look at it like this: with them with them owning Activision Blizzard King. Now, I've been wondering. So they could release the games backwards compatible, but I think that they're taking their time because they want to release them all at once, and they also want to have it where it's remember their initiative, play anywhere. Remember, remember you own
Yes.
the license and you can play it on multiple devices.
yeah.
Well, you kind of can't do that if it was never made for that originally. But now it's under Microsoft, and I think that's what they're doing in the background with the coding and stuff. Because people are getting really annoyed and saying, "Well, I haven't seen any games from Activision." I got into it with someone. I'm not gonna say their name, but all I know is I told them I said, "Dude, just calm down and wait." I'm like, you gotta remember, some of these games have never been on an Xbox. Vigilante, there's so many. There's a lot of games that have not been on Xbox. So give them time. They gotta code it. They gotta code it to go into Game Pass day one or when they decide to release it. That's gonna take time. It's not just easy like pushing a button. The thing is with Bethesda, they already had some Bethesda games already in Game Pass and on Xbox. So it was easy for them to just literally just pipeline it and just press a button and turn it on. That's why we got huge dumps of them like 2 months after the acquisition was done, after the roundtable. So I people just wait. You'll get the games. They're coming free. Who cares? We got lots of other games we're playing right now. You don't have to worry about it. They're coming.
It is kind of interesting though. You bring up the fact that like we haven't seen anything from this, and finally we did get it announced that
Yeah.
Diablo is coming finally.
That's the
Um,
start of it, he said. Remember?
yeah, and, and I'll be very curious as to like what that cadence looks like once the dam breaks, right? Like once we start to see those things coming in, what are we talking? Because I mean, this year is already pretty packed in regards to what's going to be coming here in just a little bit, or what's already coming out, honestly. So the idea that these things could drop in there too, like that's that's a lot of games. Like I'm already struggling keeping up with what I have right now and just trying to work on some of the backlog games from like a couple months ago. The idea of having all this land while all the new stuff's coming is a little daunting. What do you think? Do you think we'll see a large majority of that come out before the end of this year, or do you think maybe they'll
Wait,
pepper it out a little bit
hold,
instead?
hold,
So
hold that
I
thought
think
real
so.
quick, everyone.
okay.
Real quick, Silent, you have a message in the
Oh
chat for you.
yes. Okay, so shout out to Adidas 20 in the chat with the oh hold on. I'm getting it mixed. Sorry. With the $5 super chat, Adidas 20, he says, sending silent some mustard. Sir, I love me some mustard. Unlike our friend C Money, I love me some mustard. Rub that on some ribs, put it on some pork shoulders. Let's get it going. And
I'm
you know
on.
what? I think we should make like a fundraiser to send C Money a giant pack of mustard, like a giant box of
Well,
mustard.
I'm gonna disappoint him, but I'm also not a mustard guy.
Ah,
I like
you
honey
wouldn't.
mustard.
um,
Does that
That's
how many
count?
partly
games?
mustard. Yes.
Honey
Question,
mustard,
Just
guys. How many
not
games
mustard.
do you think they actually have made just in Activision alone?
What
that
division?
Activision has made over the years. Oh,
Yeah, from because I'm just looking at the list of IPs that they've owned and they have made from 1980 to 1999. They've made over 50 IPs right there alone, just in that short
that's
stretch.
I
That's
There's
would.
50,
Yeah.
yeah. And
actually
then
more
you
than
have
that. Now,
some of them probably have sequels and all that. So it's a lot of
no, there's
games.
80 games, and
No,
that's just between 1980 and 1999.
yeah. There's some pretty
Yeah,
big
not just
IPs there.
Activision. Just keep that in mind. That's not even Blizzard. Holy crap. Yeah. I would say they at least have over 300 games easily in Activision total, probably. They got a lot of IPs, so they're going to be busy for a while. If anybody's thinking these IPs are going to be backwards compatible right away, like in a month or two, don't get your hopes up. They got to go through this whole list of catalog. They have to see if any of the games are even salvageable because some of them were made for Atari. I just looked at, and some are for iPhone, some are for some weird
So
stuff, man.
with that being said, right? Like obviously, I think the thing that makes the most sense for them to start off with is they would pick the easy kills, right? So they'd
Yep,
go in
Call of
there and
Duty.
they'd be like, okay, we've got games from Xbox, the original Xbox, we have 360, Xbox One, all those. They could make
Hmm.
those compatible much faster. So they could spin those out In regards to other stuff, like, the classic games and stuff, we could probably see like retro packs come out over time. Um, but I would imagine that there's probably a decent amount of easy stuff that they could drop off like right off the bat, just because they've already been in that ecosystem. They already have the code there. It's just a matter of getting it and maybe like converting it to work on that compatibility.
I think this, for me personally, the smart thing would be, which I don't expect it to happen because I don't expect the marketing team to do this. But the smart thing would be to time every release, like time them right. Like, for example, let's say there's a Warcraft anniversary coming. Okay, you add Warcraft, you know, 1, 2, and 3 to PC Game Pass. You add it that day, you give it a little bit of promotion, etc. Let's say there's a for October for Halloween. Let's say there's a game that fits, the whole Halloween marketing, or there's a few games. You
It's
release
gonna
them
get
that day.
buried.
You
That's
have
the
them ready,
problem, Sourblow.
but it's gonna what?
It's gonna get buried. You gotta remember, Call of Duty's coming out this November, or October,
No, no. I'm
so
just I'm
it's
just giving
gonna
some
get buried.
examples that the
Oh, okay.
marketing team, like, they have to like time the releases to special dates or special events,
I
and
could see
and
Activision
market
doing
and,
the marketing, but I
and
don't
and
see
market
Xbox
them.
doing a good
Well,
job of
yeah,
it.
that's what I'm saying. I don't expect Xbox because I don't know,
No.
their marketing team is like not
Oh, it's
creative.
trash.
I'm
And
sorry.
I love
It's
Xbox.
hit
Don't
and
get me
miss.
wrong, but if I could talk to Phil, I would be like, dude, I love you guys, but you guys need to work on your marketing skills because the last time I saw a great ad for an Xbox was maybe 360 era. That was the
Yeah.
last time I saw a really good ad.
Hey,
Yeah,
shout out real quick to TSWS Gaming in the chat, Mr. Ham Solo. Thank you for the
And
5 months
Solo,
being a member in economy
thanks,
class. Appreciate you hanging out with us and supporting us, bud.
thanks.
I
Yeah, what I was
sent you the
gonna.
list by the way of the games that they own
God, it's
in
well, so
DM.
so as you were talking about all that, one thing that did come to mind, I don't know if everyone remembers about it, but there was a Wolfenstein game brought out by Raven. And
Really?
Raven
Wait,
is
what?
an Activision studio.
Yes.
So you would also have access to that again too. So that would be cool. That was always one I think
So
that was kind of like underrated from what I heard.
so we wouldn't have to wait like 8 years to get a new Wolfenstein. We could actually just
An old new Wolfenstein.
we
Yeah.
if Raven wants to make a Wolfenstein game, they could take some guys, like two or three guys that work over
Yeah,
at
but I
ID
would first
Software.
let Machine Game finish. Let them finish
Yes.
the trilogy
Well,
at
I,
least.
I,
Yeah,
I know, I
yeah,
know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's
Let's
one
say they
more.
want
It's
to do
one
something
more.
new.
But you could
Let's say Machine Games wants to do something new.
but
So
because that
yeah,
code was previously on the Xbox ecosystem, it would be easy enough for them to at least go back and make it backwards compatible.
and especially since
Because
they own Bethesda now too.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
they
and
could.
and all it would require from them is just to basically put a team in there to test it to make sure that it works with the code when they put in their emulation. And once that's good to go, like they could kick that out there because now they don't have to go to Activision and be like, "Hey, we want access to this title. We want to make it backwards compatible or sell it again or whatever." They don't have to worry about that because now they own those rights. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
so they're sour.
When
I
when
mean,
when
I think we got a
when
few
when do you
minutes.
think we're gonna get the
Any
games?
topic you guys want to touch quickly
I
before
think we
we?
I think we should drop it to our guest, Dron TJ. Is there anything that's been going on in the last week that you want to touch on? Could be spicy, could be just chill, mellow, whatever. You choose.
Well, I just want to know more about when are we gonna get the games from the Activision catalog because I would love to watch
Very
well,
everybody
well,
get to play prototype.
Well, unfortunately, Drawn, we are not insiders. All right.
I know you're not insiders.
You try and
A lot
push
of
on
people
me
are
as much
claiming
as
they're
you want.
insiders, but no.
Plume's the only insider. He's not here today.
Even if I
Damn.
knew something or know something, I'm not going to be out there dropping it out there so I could get slothed because
Yeah.
not a big fan of that nonsense myself.
Yeah, you're not fake. You're real. You don't like to do it for the clicks.
But
I'm just
but
an
oh,
asshole at the end of the day, really.
but Drawn, I will say this,
Yeah.
Drawn. I did heard from a no, just kidding.
I heard a rumor.
I bet you Louis watching the podcast and he's like, oh God, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say
Nah,
anything.
he's too busy touching the animals right now. Pause.
Touching the animals. That sounds so wrong. Oh my God.
That's how he phrased it to us in the private chat. He's
Man.
like, "I'll be feeding animals."
Oh
Okay.
man.
Oh yeah, because
So
he's at the fair or whatever it's called.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess since TJ is Activision centric mind focus right now, Sour, is there anything you want to talk about?
I mean, I could go on for hours about Dragon Dogma 2. So excited. But
Good.
yeah, I'm super
Actually,
excited.
I'll bring up one thing. I think it's funny that Sea of Thieves is destroying number
Yes.
wise on
I knew
PlayStation
it. I
compared to
knew it
Dragon's
too.
Yes.
Dogma 2 and Stellar Blade, which is really sad.
And
You're talking about
Ronin, right? What is it?
7-year-old
Rise of the
game
Ronin?
Rise of
beating
Ronin. Yep.
their
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
7-year-old game.
So that is that is a very good point. And you know
That's
what?
really crazy.
It's going to be really fun when this thing hits because what it lands next Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll get on and we'll sink some ponies.
I
I've been saying this for a long time. Sea of Thief, if it comes to PlayStation, is going to be a juggernaut. It's already a juggernaut in PC. And
it's funny
Yep.
too because they threw such a fit about it, and they
yeah.
said, "No, we
Oh,
don't
I
want
know,
that
right?
crap over here." Blah blah blah. It's unfinished. Look at that cartoon
Oh, that
visuals,
game.
and yet here we are. And
The,
now the thing that I will say, right, is with pre-orders and stuff like that, like they can fluctuate, they
Yeah.
can vary. Stuff like that kind of changes here and there for sure. But the fact that this thing has as much interest as it does going into it at this point, going into launch, that is a sign for them that this is an endeavor for the future that is probably pretty lucrative for them. I know Microsoft's whole thing of like, we're going to wait and see. Let's be
My,
realistic. Like they probably have
yeah.
stuff that they've already started working on just in case it is successful. And this will be a very interesting thing to watch come next
yeah.
week.
You
My
know
question is, do you need a PlayStation anymore? Because I
Nope.
mean,
if
it's
you
pretty
if
sad.
you
A
look at the
7-year-old game has been breaking records on pre-orders that wasn't even on that console before, and it's right now the pre-orders are outbeating Spider-Man 2, which just came out. So Microsoft is slowly, or Xbox is slowly killing PlayStation from the inside. They can't kill them completely because they would become a monopoly, but they're doing it from the inside.
I don't
The
even
fact
think
that
it's
you need
that,
a
but
Microsoft account to play Sea of Thieves is how they're going to get more people in the Game Pass and how they're going to slowly bait you in. They're reeling it in like they're fishing. They're like, yeah, yeah, okay, come on. Come on, you're going to kick and scream all you want, but you know you want it. Yeah. Well,
I
at the end of the day, they're Microsoft fans at the end of the day because they have to sign up in order to play that game. You need to create a Microsoft account.
Sour. Uh,
What do you think, Sourblow?
oh,
what do
what you was
you
gonna say?
what do you think about the fact that that Sea of Thieves could probably be the best rated game on PlayStation this year?
I don't think it's gonna be the best rated game, but I do think
There's
it
too many
could
casuals.
be one, if not the most played game on PlayStation. And let me tell you something. The reason I stopped playing Sea of Thieves was it's because it was becoming like part of like Second Life almost.
Oh,
You
yeah.
you when you go into the Seas of Thieves, you have no control of like a time frame. Like you go and you plan on doing, okay, I'm gonna do X and X and X, and I'm gonna last about, let's say, an hour, 2 hour playing. No, you cannot plan for that, because for for the better of the game, when you go into that game, like anything can happen. Like once you get the treasure,
Yeah,
like
you
you
can
can
get
have
the ship
other
jacked.
players attack you, you can have the Kraken attack you, you can have the uh Megalodon attacking. Like there's so many things, especially after everything, all the content they have added. You can go on the water. There's a bunch of stuff. If you want to do like story quests, there's a bunch of story quests too. Like a lot of people don't know this. Like they only think that it's the Monkey Island DLC and then the Pirates of the Caribbean. No, Sea of Thieves actually has its own lore, and it has its story that you go, fight bosses and all that. It has puzzles. It has a bunch of stuff. Like, it's amazing, all the stuff that. The problem with Sea of Thieves is that it just throws you into the world, and it's like,
It
you,
doesn't it doesn't
yeah,
Good
respect your
luck.
time
it
as
does-
an
Good luck.
good
You're gonna
NPC.
luck.
die. So
Yeah.
good
Good
luck.
luck. And then you have some players that I don't know what fun they get out of it. They
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 like to
attack the
grief.
new players, and they just
Yep.
spawn kills them until they
So
rage quit.
You're gonna see a
So
lot of that
Sour, you want
happening
you
in the
want to know
next
why
week.
people do that? I'll give you a perfect example. So, like on games that I play, like racing games, I'll race legit. But if you're gonna be an asshole and sit there and ram me off the road, I'm gonna make sure you eat the concrete every day, all day, and you're never gonna see the finish line. So I'm kind of the same way. If you treat me like shit, I'm
yeah,
gonna
no,
treat
but let me
everybody else
tell you
like shit.
this. I'll give you an
So fair
example.
game.
I'll give you an example. There was this one ship that I got in, and I was hiding because I wanted to know what the guy was doing before I took his treasure. And it ended up being that it was a new
But
guy.
let me guess, it was Boom.
no, no. It was a new guy, but then someone else came in and just started spawn killing him. So
Yeah,
God, it would
I
have
felt bad. Yeah, I
it
felt
would have
bad for the.
been it would have been so much worse if it turned out that it was someone you knew.
Oh, you imagine?
like I just
No, but
mentioned.
You're just like waiting in the wings, getting ready to take this guy down, and they pop around the corner. Oh, hey,
I used to
Sourblow,
love
what
doing
are you
that.
doing here?
But
You're like, nothing,
I
nothing.
felt bad for the guy, and I kind of defended him. I attacked the other guy, and then I sunk the other. I found the other guy's ship because he had it hidden around the corner, and then I sunk his ship, and then I actually
Yeah,
talked with the guy, and he was very thankful and all that.
So
And I
you
showed
you
him a few tricks.
you played it off to make it look like you were the hero.
No.
You
but
you
but
went
you
from
were
you went from
ultimately an
being the
asshole.
bad guy that was going to
So
rob this man blind to becoming the hero.
no, no.
You see,
I mean,
that
I mean,
that's the
if he
difference
would have had
between
good
PvP
treasure,
and Skull
I
and Bones.
probably would have taken it.
That's that's like
Because
the
Skull and Bones kind of fixes that problem. So they got PvP areas, and then they got PvE.
It- Here's the thing with
So that's
that
that's
does
where that could
no.
have worked.
Well, Sea of
Yeah,
Thief has now they added something called Safer Seas. If you don't want to be
yeah,
attacked now, you can play there. But I feel like it takes a lot of the fun of the game too, because part of the fun too is you got to take risks. The only reason I would play personally Safer Seas is probably to complete all the stories, but to play like in general, like I like that element of like when I'm going for like a treasure or I wanted to do something, I like that element that anything can happen. I can be attacked by another player. I kind of like that. The problem is I don't have the time to to invest in that game.
there's too many damn games.
Yeah.
I mean, we got when is Hellblade coming out? May.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
think
Yeah,
around the
that's.
so
corner.
we got a
I,
lot of games coming.
Honestly, I don't even
Ridiculous.
know if I'm gonna play Hellblade day one,
Oh, I'm gonna play Hellblade. I
cause
like the
cause
first
I'm
one. The
gonna
first
be
one was crazy on my surround sound.
Dragon Dogma is gonna take a lot of my time, and then after that, I probably gonna want to finish Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
you haven't
so
finished that yet?
no, I'm actually
Shame
at the
on you.
end of Mass Effect 2. I
You
started
never
the
played them when
trilogy
they
not too
first
long.
came out.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
never played them when
yeah.
they first came out. Yeah, shame on me.
Which
I never did either, but I couldn't really
give you
get
grief.
into
I
them.
haven't either.
That's the reason why.
What?
I played a couple hours of the first one. I played like an hour of the fourth one. But
I
that's it.
played the fourth one. The fourth one I played, and then I played Andromeda. Andromeda was beautiful, but I got very bored of it. I'm like, this is not Mass Effect from what people have told me. I'm like, this is a good idea. You just screwed up on the story and you screwed up on the plot of where to go. And I'm like, this is an infinite loop, and there's no point to it. So I'm like, I uninstalled Andromeda. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that note, I got some big business to take care of.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
So, guys, start with you, Drawn. Where can we find you?
Hold on, I want to ask one question. Did you guys watch the Dune Awakening gameplay video I sent you?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I
You sent it to
am really
Silent.
excited
when
for
did you
that.
when did you send that?
That game.
Did I send it to you? I think I sent it
I
to
I
don't
you
know if you
too.
did.
I will say this. There's been a long, long time I haven't been like excited
Hmm.
for like an MMO because I used to play. That's what I used to play. A
Oh,
bunch of
you lost
MMO.
me.
It's a
You
survival
lost me.
MMO,
But
so
it's a
it's
survivor
survival at the
MMO.
core, but
You
it's an
you should
MMO.
look at it.
Yep.
It doesn't look like an MMO really. It just has the name
No, look, it's
basically.
a third person. It has
It's
base
not.
building. It has everything,
It's more like think of it as Power, but in the Dune universe,
and way more
and
crazy.
yeah, and but it's not really like it looks nothing like an MMO. Like it when you just look at the video and then make your own assumption.
I'm
Don't
gonna
don't
send it to
discard it
you right
because
now.
the name MMO.
This is
No, I'm
sour.
telling you.
Sour. We're gonna pull some revision. We're gonna go back in history real quick before we end this thing. You told me the same thing about Sea of Thieves, and then today
Well, Sea
you're
of Thieves is
telling me
not an
that it
MMO though.
doesn't respect your time because of how much it expects you to put into it.
There you
Is
Well,
go,
literally the
Silent.
same
It's an hour
yeah,
conversation,
long
just with
direct,
a
by the
different
way.
name.
Just give you a
yeah,
heads
but
up.
the thing with Sea of Thief is like it has no like there's no like
I just
leveling
don't
and
like the
stuff like
art
that.
style of
It's
it.
not like
That's the only thing I don't like. Otherwise, the
Hmm.
game would be fun. I just think it's
I
a little bit
okay.
too cartoony, in
In
my
that
opinion.
note, anyway, I got some big business to take care of.
Yeah,
I
Sour's
repeat,
about to go
some
take a
big
big dumper.
business.
Is what he's
No,
doing.
not that.
Uh,
Wrestling fans would know what I mean.
you're
But
Everyone
gonna
hit the
go
like
play with
button and
some dude in
subscribe.
tights?
no, John, where can we find you?
You can find me at DrawnTJ450 on Twitter/X, and you can find me on Xbox at DrawnTJ. Just hit me up if you want to play a game. And everybody hit the like button and subscribe on your way out. It was fun being on the podcast, even though it was short, but it's okay. It was a good little episode.
It was not much turbulence. Lou wasn't here.
Uh, no,
No,
well,
just
Louis
kidding.
wasn't here.
He's doing what to the animal silent?
It's moments like these where I wish I had a soundboard with animal noises. Gosh,
Oh
Oh
God!
man,
sure would come in clutch, wouldn't it?
silent. Where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter being an asshole. You can find me on most social media as Silent Cypher. If you want to play some Fortnite, you want to play, I don't know, Mortal Kombat, Dead Island, whatever, feel free to hit me up on Xbox. Uh, if you're up for like some Command and Conquer or whatever on PC, also you can hit me up there.
Oh,
And
then I'll play with you on Command and Conquer because I
I'll,
love Command and Conquer.
I'm good with it. Did you get the remaster?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
all the Command and Conquers, and I
Okay.
got modded versions too.
Then we'll have to talk about that off the air and
Yeah.
get it set up because I've been meaning to play some multiplayer and Louis keeps ducking me because he knows he's gonna get his.
And I can get you Dune 2000 also, the original RTS.
Oh, that was a great
It's
game.
free.
But yeah, so
It's free and it's
that's
online and it works. Yep.
I would play more of that again. That was good.
I'll
But
have
yeah,
to show you.
chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It was good to see some familiar faces as always. TJ, thanks for coming to hang out with us on short notice. Yeah, we
Oh,
That's okay.
by the way, I forgot to mention. So
Mhm.
today,
What?
guest was supposed to be legal. Unfortunately, he's
Yeah,
feeling sick, so that's why he didn't
he's
make it.
under the
So
weather, so I took
Yeah,
his
yeah,
spot. And since Louis can't show up because he's busy,
it's because
and
he's
since
afraid of
Plume's
you, TJ.
missing in action, Plume's busy. I
He's
decided to
he's
tag
also
along. Might
handling
as well.
some big business.
no, you know what? You know what? Can I spoil some information
You got some
for Plume?
insider news.
What?
I do. I
What?
do
You
have
Plume's
some
in
you
the
heard
next
from
Dune
someone?
movie?
listen. Okay. Plume is currently working on American Pie 5.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
nice.
So
So we're gonna see
we've
the
heard a
flute
lot
girl
about it
again.
online, but he finally was like, "Yo, we're going to Vancouver and we're filming this week." So just a heads
So
up.
Oh yeah.
there's your insider news.
Yep, there's your insider news. You're
Yep.
welcome.
There's your insider news.
Make sure you share that all over the internet, so people know that it's legit.
All right. Well, where can you find the where can you find the crazy one?
Sorry, I forgot to ask you where can we find you?
Where can you? No, I can't do crazy. He got too much energy.
Sourblow, you never talk about me, Sourblow.
Oh man. Uh, well, you can find me here, of course, every Wednesday. But you can find me Twitter, Sourblow18. I won't tell you that you will find me on Xbox right now because I'm just playing RPGs. And
And
right after I'm done
busy.
with Mass Effect, I'm ready for some Dragon Dogma 2. And that I know will take me. I have over 250 hours already in Mass Effect. So Dragon Dogma, I probably will do something similar. But shout out also to the guys. Sometimes I do hop on Friday, Xbox International en Español. So follow them, same time, 7 p.m. And see you guys next week. Thank you for everyone that came by. I know there's a few people that hit me up also. It feels like a lot of people were busy today. Yeah, some people told me, they won't be able to be on the chat today.
It's
I
been
know
a wild
Raichi
week.
came early and
Well,
say,
it is a
yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah. All right, but
Yeah.
oh wait, what is it? As I say always, what is it? Dang, I forgot his whole.
Don't hold on. Sorry. Sourblow, don't feed the animals with your left hand because if you feed them with your left hand, not your right hand, anyways,
That's what I say always. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget what is it? Wait, don't forget.
to make sure you hit that notification.
Oh yeah, notification bell. And damn, what's the other transition you done?
I'm
Everyone hit
not a
the like
fraud.
button
I
and
think he
subscribe
says
button.
I'm.
Otherwise,
And
Dreamcast guy will crawl through your screen and come find you in your sleep.
well,
Dang.
as I say always, let's go. Let's rock. And let's go. I was gonna say something, but
You ruined it.
people might clip me. People might clip me.
You
See
guys,
you,
take
everyone.
care.
Bye, everybody.
Oh man.
We found the turbulence. Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived at our destination. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off this live stream. On behalf of Xbox International, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we're looking forward to seeing you aboard next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.